My stepson called me Mom's payroll guy and said he answers to his real dad. So I transferred the car, canceled the insurance, and blocked them all. He drove it straight into a dead end. My name is Tom. I'm 46, born in Nebraska, raised on frostbitten mornings and the kind of silence that teaches you how to keep your mouth shut. I work in IT contracting. There's a lot of waiting, a lot of deadlines, and no one claps when you fix what they broke. That suits me just fine. I married Jessica when her boy, Jaden, was 12. The kid had sharp eyes and a sharper mouth. From day one, he looked at me like I was trespassing. His father, Rick, started playing dad the minute I showed up. Before that, he was a rumor. But once I married into the picture, suddenly Rick was full of advice and anecdotes. Every weekend he'd pop up with a new opinion about how to raise a boy right. Always full of talk, light on action. I'd do more if I had the time, he'd say. I did have the time. I made the time, paid the bills, showed up for practice, sat through parent-teacher nights in gymnasium folding chairs. Rick just sent texts from parking lots. I never tried to be Jaden's dad. I just tried to be there, kept the lights on, made sure the fridge had food, paid for school supplies, orthodontics, football gear, the phone he glued to his hand. Never missed a payment. Rarely got a thank you. The first cracks didn't look like betrayal. They looked like indifference. He stopped saying good morning, then started skipping dinner. I'd walk in the room and feel the temperature drop. His silence grew edges. He started quoting Rick, "Real men don't need gratitude. Only weak men count what they give." I knew those lines weren't his. Rick was feeding him poison in small, daily doses. Jessica told me to let it go. It's just a phase. But it didn't feel like a phase. Felt like a tide turning. Quiet at first. Relentless over time. He started calling me Tom. Just Tom. Not my stepdad. Not my mom's husband. Just a name. Just a utility. Then the jokes began. First to his friends, then to me. "You're not my real dad anyway. Mom's just got you on payroll." One night, I passed the garage and heard him say it plain as day, laughing while he tuned his bike. "That's just the house accountant. Mom's payroll guy." It wasn't even said with anger. Just boredom. Like I was an ATM that walked and breathed. I brought it up to Jessica that night. She didn't deny it. She didn't defend it either. "He's just parroting what Rick says. Don't let it get to you," she said, already half turned back to her phone. That was when I realized this wasn't Jaden rebelling. This was Jaden learning. Learning who to respect and who to disregard. And his mother wasn't correcting him. If anything, she was complicit. Then came the shirt. He came home one Friday afternoon in a black t-shirt that read, in bold white letters, "Family is earned, not bought." He stared at me as he walked by. Didn't blink. Didn't smile. Jessica laughed. "That's edgy," she said. As if that explained anything. As if I hadn't spent years financing his braces and coaching fees. I sat with that shirt longer than I care to admit. I kept seeing it every time I blinked. Every time I opened the fridge. Every time I saw the car keys on the counter. The car. The one I bought for him. That was the deal when he turned 17. He'd get a car, but it stayed in my name. My insurance. My rules. And he'd keep his grades up, show some respect. He broke both. Still, I swallowed it. Told myself this is what men do. We bear. We absorb. We wait. But then came the night. The night the rest of it fell apart. Jaden came home late. Didn't knock. Didn't say hi. Just strolled into the kitchen and tossed the car keys on the table like they were someone else's problem. I looked up from my laptop. He didn't look at me. Didn't pause. Just said, "I'm not your project, accountant. I listen to my real dad now. Just wire the money like always." Then walked past me like I was smoke. I didn't say a word. I didn't chase after him. I sat there and looked at those keys. The same keys I'd handed him with pride, with hope. The same keys I'd paid for. The same car I insured. And in that moment, something inside me stopped. Not snapped. Not exploded. Just stopped. Like someone pulling a plug out of a wall. I stood up. Opened a new tab. DMV site. transferred the title back, logged into my insurance account, removed his name, canceled the policy, gas card, disabled, spending account, revoked, family plan, he could start one with Rick. I blocked Jaden. Then I blocked Jessica. And for the first time in years, the silence didn't hurt. Clarified. 2 days later, Jaden tried to start the car and found out what life without me actually looked like. But that's the next part. This part ends with this. I didn't get mad. I didn't scream. I didn't fight for space that was never mine. I just stopped paying for it. And when I did, the whole house shifted. Not from rage, from absence. Because sometimes silence isn't surrender. It's accounting. And the ledger was full. The day after I canceled everything, the notifications started. Missed calls, texts, mostly from Jessica. The first few were calm. We need to talk. Jaden's confused. Then they shifted. You're being childish. He's just a kid. That part's always predictable. The minute you stop feeding someone, they start treating you like you're the one who's starving. By noon, she sent a voicemail. Her voice was strained, trying to play mediator. He didn't mean it, Tom. You're overreacting. Don't do this to him. To us. The words "to us" felt like a punchline. I hadn't felt like part of us in years. The next message wasn't from her. It was from him. Jaden. A voice message because even now, typing was too much effort. He sounded annoyed, like I'd interrupted his afternoon. He really shut it all off. This clown thinks I need him. That was it. I saved the file, created a folder, named it Receipts. Because this time I wasn't playing silent martyr. This time I'd document everything. Every slight, every insult, every instance of Jessica choosing neutrality over justice. I wasn't going to shout. I was going to build a file. On the third day, the house finally called me back. It was mid-morning. I was in the middle of coding a server patch when my phone lit up. Jaden, blocked contact. He must have used Jessica's phone. I didn't pick up. Let it go to voicemail. Listened during lunch. His voice was shaking now. The car wouldn't start. The garage wouldn't accept the insurance. AAA declined the call. The world had stopped moving, not because I took anything away, but because I finally acted like the stranger they said I was. I didn't call back. I didn't even write a message. I took a screenshot of the new registration. Highlighted the line that read, "Driver not authorized. Vehicle owner reserves all rights. All claims. Refer to biological guardian." And sent it. No text. No signature. That was all he got. By that evening, Jessica was on fire. She called 5 times. Left 3 voicemails. The last one was a full minute of trembling, righteous fury. You're hurting him. He's just confused. You're the adult, start acting like it. I finally replied. He told me I'm not his father. You told me I'm not obligated. I'm finally agreeing with you. That shut things down temporarily. 2 days later, Rick messaged me. First time he'd ever reached out directly. All lowercase. All bravado. You think you can control a kid through gas and insurance? Weak move. I didn't respond. Just forwarded it to my attorney. Saved a PDF copy. Added it to the receipts folder. That's the part people never see. The planning. The quiet withdrawal. When a man finally starts treating his love like a contract and starts enforcing the terms. Jaden tried one more time that week. This time he used Jessica's email. Subject line. Talk? No greeting. No apology. Just, I need help with repairs. Mom's card got declined. You said this was a team. What now? I stared at the message for a long time. Then wrote back. This isn't a team. This is adulthood. You earn your way now. If you want help, write a proposal. Show me effort. No attitude. No Rickyisms. Just a plan. He didn't reply for 3 days. Then, out of nowhere, a scan of a handwritten letter showed up in my inbox. No flourish. No guilt trip. Just, I'll do 5 shifts at the youth clinic. Skip weekend plans. Put in $100 from my paycheck. If you help, I can still make the tournament. No signature. Just that. I stared at it for a while. Read it twice. then printed it, hung it on the fridge, sent back a one-line reply, "Deal. Honor it and I match it." And he did. He clocked every shift, sent pictures from the clinic, even logged his gas receipts, didn't posture, didn't send side comments about "Dad said this" or "Rick says that." He just worked. His coach messaged me once. "He's focused, actually helping the younger kids. Thought you should know." That night, Jaden texted me, "He wouldn't do this. Rick said I should just demand it. Said you'd cave." I stared at the message for a long time. Then I deleted it. Not out of anger. Just clarity. That was the turn. The first one. Tiny. Fragile. He started asking me to review footage of his plays. Not just, "Can I get gas money?" but, "Can you help edit my highlight reel?" Not "Buy me stuff," but, "Can you come to the showcase?" He started saying, "Is this in the budget?" Like he respected the idea that my support wasn't endless. It had parameters, value, limits, and when he played clean. No showboating. No Rickisms. He shook hands. He helped the ref. He passed the ball when he could have taken the shot. That was the kid I had waited to see. That night, we drove back in silence. But a good one. At a red light, he looked over and said, "That shirt, the one about family. I shouldn't have worn that." I didn't look at him, just kept my eyes on the road. "Okay." "I was angry," he said. "You were honest," I replied. Pause. Then, "It wasn't true though." I didn't answer, because he wasn't talking for a reply. He was confessing. The next morning I got a text. Simple. "Sorry for the payroll thing. That was messed up." I wrote back, "I forgive you. Now let's build forward." No lecture. No sarcasm. No rubbing it in. Just a line in the sand and an invitation. He still lives mostly with his mom. Still has Rick in his life. But the calls I get now aren't demands. They're questions. Requests for advice. Help with essays. Budgeting help. Things that say, "I see you." He doesn't know this, but I've started a savings account in his name. Quietly. Steady deposits. Just in case he chooses to build something real. On his own terms. On ours. Was I harsh? Maybe. But I didn't take revenge. I just gave him a lesson no one else would. You don't spit on the hand that feeds you and expect dessert. You don't mock a man's effort and then cry when the engine stalls. I wasn't punishing him. I was teaching him the cost of disrespect. And now, for the first time, he's paying it forward instead of burning it down. A week after the tournament, Jaden tried to go back to the old way. Not with words. With silence. He skipped a check-in call. Ignored a budget question. Gave one-word replies to texts. I knew what it was, muscle memory. The default setting. Let Rick fill his ears again. Tell him I was overreaching. Testing him. Whatever toxic narrative made Jaden feel like taking my help meant giving up control. But this time, I didn't chase. I didn't remind. I didn't scold. I just withdrew. Quietly. Cleanly. The gas card didn't refill. The copay on his meds lapsed. The extra gym membership, the one I got him at that private training facility, was suspended for non-payment. I didn't say a word. I let the consequences arrive first. He texted me 2 days later. "Is the account low?" I replied, "No. Respect is." 3 hours passed. Then he wrote, "Okay, I messed up. Can we reset?" That's when I knew it was real. Because he didn't blame me. He didn't name Rick. He didn't perform. He just asked. So we met. Saturday morning. Coffee shop, no drama. He brought a notepad. Wrote down everything. What he needed, what he could do, what he'd already lined up. I didn't even have to prompt him. He said, "I want to build this the right way. Not just get the money. I want to know how to make it." I asked, "Where's Rick in all this?" Jaden didn't hesitate. He told me I was stupid for apologizing to you. Said if I had a real dad, I wouldn't be groveling for car repairs. I waited. Then he added, "That's when I knew he doesn't know me. Not the me I'm trying to be." That moment, it didn't bring joy. It brought quiet. Relief, maybe. Not because I'd won, but because he had finally stopped echoing Rick's voice and started finding his own. I told him, I'll match you dollar for the next 6 months. Every shift you work, every dollar you save, I'll mirror it. But the moment you slide back into old habits, it ends. He nodded. No debate. And he kept his word. He worked 3 jobs that summer. Clinics, refereeing, dog walking. Started fixing his own car with YouTube tutorials. When the alternator failed, he called a junkyard for parts instead of asking me for a dealership loan. He started using phrases like, that's outside the budget, and I need to check what I've saved. Jessica noticed. I could tell. One night she called unprompted. First time in months. He's different, she said. I don't know what you did, but thank you. I didn't say anything at first. Then I asked, why now? She went quiet, then said, because I see what it looks like when you stop enabling someone. And I saw how badly I'd been doing that. I almost didn't know how to respond. That's the thing about apologies. When they come too late, they don't land. They echo. Still, I said, I'm not mad. I just wish it hadn't taken loss to make anyone listen. She whispered, me too. And that was it. From then on, she stayed out of it. Let Jaden and I rebuild without her running interference. That was the greatest gift she could have given at that point. Space. That fall, Jaden applied for 2 scholarships. Got one. Covered half his tuition. He texted me the screenshot. No emojis. Just, we did it. That word caught me off guard. I stared at it longer than I should have. Weeks later, I got an email from one of his professors. Apparently, Jaden had listed me as an emergency contact and referred to me as his father figure. That's all the professor would say, privacy rules, but he wanted to thank me for supporting such a committed young man. I didn't forward the message. I didn't print it. I just read it. Twice. Then closed the laptop. Because I'd already gotten what I needed. Not praise. Not acknowledgement. But proof. That who I was in that house hadn't been erased. Just delayed. The next shift happened quietly. Jaden called me one night, past 10 p.m. Not an emergency. Just wanted to run something by me. Thinking of switching majors, he said. Want to get into coaching. Not just play. He asked, what do you think? I paused. Then said, I think you should do what makes you stand still when you imagine the future. Not what makes you run from the past. He went quiet for a beat. Then, that helps. That was it. The next time I saw him, he didn't wear any slogans. No shirts quoting fatherhood. No side-eye glances. Just a hoodie, a plan, and a kind of calm I hadn't seen in years. He said, I don't expect anything. Just wanted you to know I'm trying. I told him, you don't have to try for me. You just have to try. He nodded. Before he left, he asked, if I keep this up, keep doing right, is there a chance you'd come to the banquet? I paused, then smiled. Yeah, there's a chance. I haven't said yes to much in years, but that one felt right. That night, I walked into my study, pulled out a folder. Inside were receipts, screenshots, transcripts, voicemails, all the proof of the disrespect. I added a sticky note, archived, not forgotten. Then I put the folder in the drawer. Didn't burn it, didn't reread it, just moved it aside. Not because I forgave everything, but because I wanted to make room for what might come next. Tell me, is that what growth looks like? Or is it just me hoping I haven't been a fool all along? Jaden calls now. Not every day. Not out of need. Just when it matters. When the silence between us has stretched a little too long. When something good happens and he doesn't want to share it with Rick. He still lives mostly with Jessica, but the gravity has shifted. The axis tilted. I'm no longer the man funding his life. I'm the man who helped him reclaim it. The last time we spoke, it was late. I was already in bed, half asleep, when the phone lit up. No text, no voicemail, just a direct call. I answered, expecting a question about school or job applications. But he just said, thanks for not giving up on me, even when I deserved it. I didn't know what to say. I stared at the ceiling. Words caught in my throat like dust. Finally I said, "You earned it back." Not with words, with action. He was quiet for a moment. Then, "That night I called you a payroll clown. I think about that a lot." I let him sit in it. He continued, "Rick told me I shouldn't apologize. Said it made me weak." I said, "You're not weak. You're just not an echo anymore." He exhaled, a long, steady breath, like something unspoken had finally been said. That's what fatherhood is, I think. Or at least what it should be. Not giving them money, not forcing them to need you, but letting them fall, letting them bruise, and watching from the sidelines until they crawl back not for cash, but for clarity. I've kept the savings account going. He doesn't know about it. Not yet. It's not for reward. It's not a bribe. It's a bridge. In case he ever forgets again who stayed, who bled quietly behind the walls while he played loyalty games with ghosts. Rick still sends him messages now and then. Still tries to pull him back into the old hierarchy. Don't let him manipulate you. You don't owe him anything. But they bounce off now. I can tell. Jaden's responses have gotten shorter. Sometimes he just sends me screenshots of Rick's rants with no comment. Just receipts. One day he sent me a photo of a birthday card Rick gave him. Inside was a $20 bill and a note that said, "Hope this helps." Jaden's caption read, "This man really thinks this covers 17 years. I didn't laugh. I didn't reply. I just hearted the message. Because that was enough. That was the joke and the reckoning all in one. Last month, he invited me to watch him coach his first kids game. Elementary school team. Tiny uniforms. Nervous parents. Jaden stood tall, whistle around his neck, clipboard in hand. He looked like a man. After the game, he introduced me to the team. Not as his stepdad. Not as Tom. Just, this is the guy who taught me what showing up really means." One of the parents asked if I was his father. Jaden didn't flinch. "He's the reason I am who I am," he said. That was it. And that was enough. We never talked about the full fallout. Not really. Some things don't need rehashing. They just need remembering quietly. Like scar tissue. Like a lesson your body holds even when your brain forgets. Jessica called me last week. Just to talk. Just to thank me. I didn't ask her why now. I didn't ask why it took this long. I just listened. She said, "I think I made it hard for you. I think I thought being neutral was being fair. But I see now, silence just gives the loudest person the floor." I told her, I wasn't looking for backup. I was looking for truth. She cried a little, said, "You were right. I'm sorry. I didn't say I forgive you. I just said, I know." Because some apologies aren't meant to erase the past. Just to stop it from repeating. Jaden still messes up. Still forgets to respond sometimes. Still gets tempted by Rick's shortcuts. But now there's a compass inside him. One he built. Not one I gave him. That matters. That's the victory. Not a speech. Not a tearful reunion. Just a man realizing what it costs to have a real father, and what it means to finally be one. So now I ask you, was I too harsh? Was I wrong to shut it all off, the money, the insurance, the favors? Was it cruelty to let him face a wall he helped build? Or was it the only way left to show him the truth? That love without respect is slavery. And that every man has a breaking point, even the quiet ones. You tell me, would you have endured it? Would you have kept paying just to be humiliated in your own home? Or would you, like me, have closed the wallet and finally heard the clarity come rushing back in?